So there's something pretty special about a New Zealand summer. The days stretch out forever and the nights are longer, and the entire country practically signs itself off and doesn't come back until mid-January. Barbecues became our main meals, and beaches become our personalities, and most conversations begin with, fuck, it's hot. New Zealand summer is sold as an international paradise, but it also comes with its own particular set of rules. Rules that no one really explains, and rules that no one really writes down. Unspoken agreements that keep our country functioning between December and February. So whether you're visiting for the first time, road tripping around the country, or even if you've lived here your whole life, this is my rules to New Zealand summer. So, one of the biggest misconceptions about New Zealand is that it's small. It's not huge, we're just spread out. Our cities are clustered and our small towns are scattered, which means long stretches where the views are pretty amazing and your phone is pretty bloody useless. So be prepared for no bars, no data, and no checking in on those Tinder matches. And if you're new, that shocks people, because in 2026 we've accustomed ourselves to having Wi-Fi practically anywhere. But here in New Zealand, it's more just a suggestion. So if you've got kids in the car this summer, you'll probably need to prepare a few things. Start by downloading some movies and some games, because when that signal drops out, it's not coming back for a while. And it also means if something goes horribly, horribly wrong, like a breakdown or a wrong turn, or a flat tyre in the middle of nowhere, you might not be able to call for help. At that point, you've got to rely on your own 2 feet. So one thing that sums up New Zealand pretty well is our relaxed nature for paying for things. Some places are EFTPOS only, some places are paywave, and some places are operating entirely on trust. A table, a sign, and an honesty box. That's it. And somehow, it works. Because this is great for locals and on-the-road enthusiasts, but for travellers, this might be pretty confusing. You might pull over to buy some fresh fruit or some honey, some homemade fudge or something vaguely herbal, and then you suddenly realise that they don't take cards, or phones, or excuses. And then that gets even more exciting when you try to catch public transport. Some buses take cash, some take a snapper card, and then some trains have their own rules, and none of them care or have the time for the fact that you didn't know. So always carry cash. So one of the great promises of a New Zealand summer is the weather. Because it's what the brochures show, and it's what the postcards sell, and it's what everyone expects back home when you tell them that you're going to New Zealand. Sun, blue skies, warm days, and sometimes you get exactly that. And then sometimes you get absolutely stitched up, because here in New Zealand it's not uncommon to experience 4 seasons in one day. You might wake up to perfectly fine weather, and by mid-afternoon, there's a fucking tsunami. And by dinner, everyone's strolling around in their jandals, cooking up on a barbie. It's confusing. And that's where people get caught out. Because if you're a keen hiker or outdoors enthusiast, the landscape here might be stunning, but it's also pretty unforgiving. So whether you're heading out for a bushwalk or a short tramp, always plan for the worst. So camping in New Zealand is a sacred summer tradition. It's about freedom, getting back to nature, enjoying the simpler things, and convincing yourself that sleeping on the ground is actually pretty nice. For many Kiwis, camping isn't just a holiday, it's their personality. But with it comes camping etiquette. The things that no one tells you, but everyone silently begs you'll understand. So here's a few gentle reminders from your old Uncle Bogan. Don't be that guy. If you arrive at a campsite and it's completely empty, with endless options, don't choose to set your camp up next to someone else. Because camping isn't a flatting situation. You might enjoy neighbours, but they might not. They might just want a peaceful time reading a book, or they might be drinking Cody's and playing drum and bass until 3 a.m. They might look lovely, but they might also be cooking meth.
Is this your special bitch?
You just don't know. And that's a gamble that I don't think you're willing to put your money on. Now this is my number one all-time unspoken rule of New Zealand. This rule is more powerful than any law, and that's the courtesy pass. Here's the situation. You're driving along a long, windy, mountainous road. Maybe you're unfamiliar with it. Maybe it's just narrow and you're being careful. Good, I like careful. But then you glance into your rearview mirror. 1, 2, 3, an entire convoy of emotionally fragile Kiwis behind you. At this point, something important's happened. You've become the leader of the pack. Now, this doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. In fact, I'd rather you be slow and dead. But here in New Zealand, there's an understanding. If you know that you're holding people up and a safe opportunity appears, you pull over. You indicate, you slow down, and you let them pass. This is called the courtesy pass. And it says, I see you, I respect your time, and I don't want to ruin your holiday. And in return, you'll get something sacred, the courtesy beep. Just a gentle beep beep. Now that beep matters. It completes the social contract. Now sometimes that beep doesn't happen, and in that moment, something changes. But we won't talk about that, will we? But you will remember. So if you're not familiar with our roads, do the good and kind thing, pull over, and just wait it out. Let other people pass so everyone can enjoy their holidays. Because New Zealand's summers are incredible. They're chaotic and unpredictable. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a like down below, subscribe to my channel, and if you want to support what I do here, you can donate to my Buy Me a Coffee channel or give me a super like. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one,